everybody, and welcome to Quilting Business Success. I'm here at the Gammill headquarters doing our weekly broadcast. And Andrew is not able to be with me again this week because he's on the road, as he often has been lately. But he did send a couple of lovely ladies our way. We have with us Shanon Peters and Sue Burnett. I'm going to introduce them more in just a moment. We're going to give just like 1 minute for more of the participants to come online and join the show. But yeah, we'd just like to welcome everybody here, and we've got a pair here that it's our first one, our first people that are in a different part of the world, aside from Canada. Does Canada really count? Yes, it's another country, but anyway. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and start here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Shanon Peters, wave your hand, and Sue Burnett, and they are joining us from New Zealand. And these are quilters that have been doing this for quite some years. And we'll just start out right from the beginning. And whichever one of you wants to talk can talk. But kind of tell us, you two are in business together. Can you tell us just a little bit about your business that you have right now, your quilting business?
Yeah. So about 10 years ago, Sue and I decided we were going to open up a quilt shop, and Sue had been already long arm quilting for a number of years, more than 10 years from her home. So our thinking was we would have fabrics, we would have, and then build up the quilt shop side of the business just as we could, little by little. And that we would have sort of a built-in customer base because Sue had already been quilting for quite some time. Sue has four Gammill long arm machines, so we do a large number of quilts every year. And we have both customers that use our long arm service and that also don't use our long arm service. Yeah.
Okay. And Sue, how long have you been long arming?
This is my 24th year. I ordered my first Gammill in 2000.
Okay, so it's been quite some time.
Yes, 2000. I got my second one in 2006, and the fourth one, I think it was 2008. So by 2008, I had the four of them.
And so have you always had Gammills, or have you had any other long arms as you've been doing this?
No, I've always had Gammills. What made me start up was there was only one person in Wellington long arming, and I took a quilt to have it quilted, and she only had 5 patterns for me to choose from, and I did have it quilted there, but I wasn't happy with the result, and I thought I can do that, so I ordered a machine from America, which ended up in Belgium because it went to Zealand and not New Zealand. But
okay.
we got it here in the end. It took about 4 months, but we got it here in the end.
And the people that are watching, I'm sure they can tell that your accent is a little bit stronger than Shanon's. So Shanon, are you not a native New Zealander? Or what's the story?
I'm not. I am American. I have lived in New Zealand for 24 years. We moved to New Zealand because of the work that my husband does, and his job has been very good. So we just stayed here. We really love living here.
Okay,
and we
so
live in Wellington. I'm a transplant. And we're in Wellington, New Zealand, which is the capital of New Zealand. It's also the southernmost tip of the North Island of New Zealand.
Okay. And Sue, are you a native New Zealander, or have you been there
Yes,
all of your
yeah.
life?
I've lived nearly all of my life. I was born in Island Bay, which is about 10 minutes away from the shop. So I've been Wellington all my life. Many, many years, because I'm really old.
Now no one else is saying that. So, so, uh, so tell me, Sue, how did you start out in the quilting or long arming? How did you get into it in the first place?
In the very first, I went to a wedding in 1998, and the girls I worked with had made bride a quilt, and I was so taken by it that I started quilting. I started patchwork piecing, and I got into the long arm quilting because I tried to quilt one of my own and I didn't like the result. So I thought I needed to do it professionally. So I got my first machine. I
So
practiced for 3 months.
when you started to try to do that quilt, were you trying to do it with just a sewing machine, or?
Yes, just an
Okay.
ordinary, very old Elna Supermatic from
Okay.
1973, which I'm still using, but not for quilting. And so I imported one with the view of starting up a business. And I did 50 quilts for friends in the first 3 months, and then lodged off to started quilting professionally in the April.
Okay. And when you got your first long arm, was it specifically to do a quilting business, or was it just for personal use, or?
No, because it was relatively expensive. It wasn't a Statler, it was just a free motion, yeah, a hand guided one, and very, very different from the 4 machines I have today. I did have that one retrofitted in the end.
Okay. And tell us again, how did you end up going with, why did you go for Gammill in the first place?
Only because the people who, the one I had seen was a Gammill.
Okay. And so that's what you knew and that's what you went
So
with.
that's what I'd seen. And I did look at other machines over the years, but it's the Gammill that I still think's the better one.
And you say, and since then you have upgraded that hand-guided machine.
Yeah.
You still have that original machine?
Yes, it's my favorite machine. It never fails. It handles any fabrics. It goes over lumps and bumps and pins and scissors, no trouble at all.
And scissors?
Oh yes, I can quilt over anything. And the occasional finger.
Don't tell my tech support people that. You don't want this doing.
All of the problem quilts that come in from customers go on that specific machine because we know that's the one that's going to sew through all the interesting fabrics.
Okay. Well, a lot of the American people watching this right now, they just want to know, what is the superior country, New Zealand or Australia?
Hands down, it's New Zealand.
Of course.
Well, I have a friend named Marino, who is the Gammill dealer in Australia. That's not what he's told me. I think we're just gonna have to work this out. I don't know. So
He needs to come have a good long visit with us and he'll be convinced.
Absolutely.
well, yes, I've always read that there's that sibling rivalry between New Zealand and Australia.
Yes.
Especially in the sporting field.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Not so much in the quilting.
Football, right?
Rugby.
Yeah.
Oh, rugby. Okay.
Yeah. Which also can be referred to as football.
Yes, yes. Well, you
But
know,
it's winter here and it's rugby season, so they're just we're getting down to where the last four teams are playing, and I'll just mention that three of the four teams are New Zealand teams.
okay. But we're gonna have to bring Marino in on one of these days. Okay, so you're getting close to the Super Bowl there, and oh, I will tell you that the Kansas City Chiefs they have recruited a rugby player to be on their team this year, so we'll be excited to see how that works out.
It's their kicking ability
Okay, okay.
and their the size of rugby play. They're on the large side,
Chunky monkeys.
very built tough.
Okay. All right, let's as you know, this is a quilting show, so we'll try to get back to the subject. I'm bad about chasing rabbits on this show, people know. But so the business that you have now, how long tell us a little bit about how that started and how long you've had this business, and tell us about how that started and how the two of you ended up getting together on this business.
Well, the first couple of years, things were a little bit slow. There was very little work, sort of in the beginning of the year, January, February, very quiet.
And what year was that?
That was in 2001. I basically started in doing people's quilts. But the third year, the work just steadily came in all year long. At the moment, we're doing about 900 quilts a year, but that's dropped off considerably with the, what would you call it?
The economy.
The economy, yes.
Yeah.
The economy and COVID was a big dip for us.
Yeah.
When COVID first finished, we got a lot of quilts in from people who'd been making them while we were in lockdown, but that's really eased off.
Now, can I ask a question about the COVID? Since you guys are in a totally different part of the world, did COVID was it like a very strict lockdown where you were not able to go anywhere and people weren't able to go out and about?
Yes.
100%. We got notice of the lockdown. The notice was in March. We got notice in the afternoon on a Monday. Wednesday from midnight, so midnight on Tuesday night, you were not, like, only essential people were allowed to work. That's hospital workers. If you produced something that was essential to the economy, police, and the only businesses allowed to be open were pharmacies and petrol stations, so gas stations
and supermarkets.
Oh, and supermarkets were open. So if you were a supermarket worker, you were an essential worker. No other businesses were open. So we were completely closed. We were not even allowed to travel from our house to our place of business, like if we needed supplies for ourselves. There was no, everyone was at home.
And how long did that strict level of lockdown continue?
So the first lockdown was, what, 6 weeks?
Something like that.
And we had a second lockdown that was also in the neighborhood of 6 weeks. The second one was slightly, there was no online shopping allowed in the first lockdown. In the second lockdown, it was slightly different, where you could order things that were essential. Nothing quilting was deemed essential, so we weren't allowed to even ship out mail order. But we were allowed to do that. There was sort of like an interim time where we were allowed to ship out orders, but lockdown was still occurring. So we did, we were able to process people ordering things then at that point, and the couriers could work so we could get things delivered to customers.
Okay, I just wanted to get a little snapshot into that, what it was like in your
Yeah.
world. I do want to tell the people, anyone who is watching live right now, if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment, you're welcome. You should see at the bottom of your screen a little place where you can click and submit a question. So you're welcome to do that. So, and let me ask you, girls, the place where you're located, is it very rural where there's a high population concentration, or is it more a city or more country?
We're definitely in a city.
Okay.
Most of New Zealand is predominantly rural, but we are definitely in a city.
Okay.
Shops in a suburb.
Yeah,
So
we're not in like downtown, we're in a suburb. Yeah.
Okay. So when you first began your business and the quilting part is, how did you have any difficulty finding customers, and how did you go about doing that?
no problem at all. I belong to a quilt guild, so, and because virtually no one else was doing it, I had a pretty good run of it. There are a lot of people now in Wellington doing it, so I rely really on my reputation and return customers. But when I first started in 2000, there was just the two of us doing it.
And when you first started out and you bought that first machine, how did you come up with the funds to purchase that machine in the beginning?
I just added it onto the mortgage.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
and I've heard that from several people
Yep.
who've done that
Yep.
same thing.
Yeah.
Sherry is asking a question. Do both of you run the long arm machines?
No.
No, just me at the stage. Shanon desperately wants to, but she's
Shanon,
busy and
what do you do, Shanon?
Nothing.
Is she just the face of the operation? Is that what it is?
If you ask the other people who work here, they'll tell you nothing. I do the majority of the ordering for the shop. I process all the bills. I make sure all the paperwork like taxes, and we have both income tax and sales tax. So that, needs all the filing.
And she does work in the shop
I
too.
do. I also work in the shop. Yeah.
Okay, so
I do all the
I do
all the lessons that we teach, and anybody who wants to learn how to do things. Yeah.
Okay. So Sue, do you do all of the quilting, Sue?
I do have a girl that comes in 3 days a week, and she does the edge to edge patterns, which I do some, but I do all the block work and the custom quilting. And Jenny, who works with me, just does pantographs. So she works on 2 machines and I work on 2 machines. And when she's not here, sometimes I have all 4 going. I can handle 3 easily, but the 4th one I have to be running a bit. And, I'm getting old.
We also have a group that comes in on Monday. So every Monday since forever, Sue has had charity quilts on her long arms that get donated to primarily the hospital and the women's refuge. So we do a lot of charity quilting.
So other people tend to make the quilts and we quilt them, bind them and get them to the destination.
Okay. And so
and that's
how many
hundreds every year.
Yeah, I heard you mention 900 recently. So how many hours a week do you end up working on average?
On the long arms, I probably do about 30. In the shop, it's a bit more than that.
Yeah.
7 to 5, probably nearly 55, 60 hours a week I'm here. But it's a passion. I love it.
Yep.
It's my passion.
So is retirement on the horizon, or are you just planning on keep on
Mm.
going?
No chance.
She's going to keep on going.
keep on going.
That's kind of the feeling I was getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I'm
keep
getting my pension. I'm a pensioner. But no, I love what I do. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
So you say you do a lot of the custom, you do the custom quilting, and you have the girl do a lot of the edge to edge that works
Yes.
with you. What percentage would you say edge to edge
From
versus custom?
probably 20% custom, block work and custom, and 80% would be the
Yeah.
edge to edge work.
Okay. And so I know the money is different over there, but do you charge by the hour or by the square inch, or how does that work?
Square foot.
By the square
Square
foot.
Okay. And do you know, can you tell us about how much like an average queen size quilt would run?
Would be about 150 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah, which is that's a real bargain. So that's like we're about 60%. So would that be 110 maybe US dollars?
Okay, okay. So a New Zealand dollar is 60% of a US dollar?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um, so how many, you said that did you say you did not, did I hear that right? 900 quilts in a year?
At the moment, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, it was 1,200. Yeah.
Wow.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were quilting 100 quilts a month.
Yeah.
Man.
And that honestly, that's maximum capacity. That's you know, that was a lot of work.
So I quilt for customers 5 days a week.
Yeah.
On the Monday I quilt for the charity quilts, and on Saturday I work in the shop. That's my day off.
That's your day off. Okay. And how do you do the charity quilts? Do you donate the materials, or how does that work?
we do donate some batting and a bit of backing. If we get some fabric that's not selling too well, we'll donate it to them.
Okay.
And then I've got people that do the binding. We sort out all the bindings and everything, and they go out, be bound, and come back, and then we donate them at certain times of the year.
And we have a reasonable amount of fabric that has been donated to us from customers that we make little sets of kind of coordinated fabric that if people want to make a quilt but they don't have the resources to provide their own fabric, they can come and get a little pack of fabrics for us. Some of the quilts we make they need to be certain sizes for what they're used for.
Mm-hmm.
So we tend to we do for both the neonatal unit and the palliative care unit at the hospital, so all the extremes.
And the mortuary.
Well, we do, so that when a patient goes out, they go out in a handmade, well-made quilt.
Okay. Now, and do you sell supplies at your shop there, like batting?
Yes.
And fabrics? Okay.
Yeah, we've got about 500 different wide backers. So we've got a really good supply, and we've got half a dozen different battings.
Yeah.
Wool, polyester, cotton.
bamboo.
and bamboo.
Okay. And do you offer other services like binding, piecing, backing,
Yes.
t-shirt quilts, things like that?
No,
Prefer not to do them.
Okay.
I will, if they're sashed, I'll do it with the sashing, but I don't like anything that's got the hard plasticky
ink.
on it, because the Gammill just doesn't like stitching through that, picking up the bob and thread.
Okay.
I used to do them, but there's something this year I've just decided.
Yeah, we're getting stricter with what we will quilt and what we won't quilt, and it's primarily because that's hard on the machines, and it takes too much time, and we just can't accommodate that.
Okay. Yeah, and I've heard both sides of the spectrum on the t-shirt quilts. Some people
Yeah.
just absolutely hate them. And there's some people that really enjoy doing them. So, you know, it's whatever floats your boat with that.
Yeah. If there's somebody in New Zealand who would like to make t-shirt quilts, we get requests for that often, but we,
Okay.
both making and quilting those quilts. I think you could earn a living at it, but it's not our thing.
Okay. So, when you started out the business, were you were able to just take off right away, or did you have any trouble in the beginning, or?
Not on either side, not on the quilting side or when we started the shop, because we had that ready client base. And with my quilting, when I was doing it home, I just belonged to a couple of groups, so there was plenty of people coming forward, and my prices were and still are quite reasonable.
Okay.
I've only put them 50 cents in the 24 years, 50 cents a square foot.
Okay. So when you first started, did you start with just the one machine?
Yes, just one.
And at the time, was it a hand-guided machine?
Yes.
Okay. And so
one quilt a day was more than I could handle.
I got you.
Roll out photographs and
how long did it take you to go to Statler?
Probably 5 years.
Okay. So when you started out, you didn't have the capacity to do what you can do these days.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
What would you say? Do you remember like your lowest year, about how many quilts you put out at your lowest time?
No idea. No idea.
Okay. Yeah. Now you can do 900 or 1,200. That is amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
But I think when you have the shop, 900 is probably about to 900 is the lowest number of quilts we've done for customers. It's
Sometimes I've got I've got 70 sitting on the shelves waiting. At the moment, I've probably got about 25.
20, yeah.
But how many? Say that again. You broke up a little.
At the moment, I've got about 25 waiting to be quilted. In a busy time, I'll have up to 70.
Wow. And
but we can usually turn them over.
Yeah.
The edge. Yeah.
How long of a turnaround time is it normally from the time they bring a quilt in?
A week for edge to edge. For edge to edge, it's about a week to 10 days, and custom quilting 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes up to 6 weeks. But we do try and get the edge to edge out in a week.
We really try to keep that as low of a time frame as we can. It just we found that just works the best for us.
And with the 4 machines, it means we have the ability, if someone comes in with a baby that's been born early or something, we can get a quilt through in a
Slot,
day or
yeah.
two by just moving things around a little.
Okay. And you do all these quilts is just with two people doing the quilting, right?
Yeah. There's another person who works in the shop that does the pinning on
Yeah.
as that's needed. So there actually are 3 people involved with the whole
Okay.
process. Yeah. But most of us who work here can pin, we know how to do that, like get the back on in the direction it needs to go to match the top, pin everything on so that it's ready. You know, we've just got a constant turnover of,
Okay.
we like to, we've got a waiting area for the quilt, which is just behind it, over that direction, where nothing's been pinned on. And then we have a secondary waiting area where it's the quilts that have been pinned on and can go on the machine as soon as the next one is finished.
I've got 14 sets of leaders,
And
so I can pin on well in advance.
that's really important for the time frame to keep ticking over in the way we do things.
You have the zipper leaders?
Yes.
You've
Yeah.
got 14 sets, huh?
Yes. Some I
guys.
bought, some made.
Yep.
You guys are a well-oiled machine.
Yes.
So,
We don't do too badly.
We do all right.
so for the people that are watching, a lot of the, the target audience that we have are people who are either starting a business or thinking of going in that direction. Can you think of any difficulties that you've met in running a business or starting the business, and how you have dealt with those?
I have a couple of suggestions. It's one thing that's really, I think, beneficial to customers who come in is having the batting and the wide backers available. They both of those are available at different, like we have a big box store where they can go and buy those. There are also quite a few quilt shops, but we have a large selection of that. And because we do the long arm quilting, we've kept that side of our, we have a good stock of that. So you can, there's rarely a time when we don't have a wide back that will work with that quilt top. I think that that's been a big asset for us, is to have that available. And because we can turn quilts around in a reasonable time frame, that also, the customers appreciate that.
Yeah, so you guys, I'm just struck with the fact that you guys just hit the ground running and just were like rocket fuel the minute you took off.
We were very lucky.
I'm just going to go grab a couple other things that have come to my mind.
Okay.
Right,
Deborah has made a comment on here saying, just saying you guys are awesome. And I have Paula is asking a question on here asking, do you use zipper leaders for backing only?
We have started recently just floating.
Yeah.
If we've got a wool batting that is very, very thick. When I use that, I pin a top leader on. But now I've found in the last couple of years, it's much easier to float the quilt top. You've got a much better way of smoothing it out, keeping it straight. Especially the quilts are a little bit wavy. They're easier to manage if you can actually smooth them out as you're going.
So I'll just show a couple of things that help to keep, because we have a larger number of quilts, we need to be very organized. So when a quilt comes in, I'll cover the details up. We have a worksheet.
Okay.
So the worksheet has every piece of relevant information about that quilt. We measure the top, we measure the back, we measure the batting. We, if they want to purchase from us, we cut those after the top has been measured, because even if a customer tells you their quilt is 80 by 80, It might be 86 by 90 when we measure it. So we measure. We have loose leaf binder books that we have all of our long arm patterns available, so we can, and that's both the pantograph patterns and block work patterns are in a book, so we can walk, page by page through the book. All that being said, we have about 15,000 patterns, so sometimes that's time consuming. It really helps if they have some idea of what type of quilting they would like on the quilt. The other thing we have are bags. So every quilt that comes in goes in a bag. The worksheet is placed on the end of the bag, and it's a shelf where we can see the bag. So that'll.
Okay, we're breaking up just a little bit right now. Let's see.
Smaller quilts, we could pick 3 small quilts, squeeze them in at the end, get those done that day so that they're finished, and
Hey,
they
Shannon,
walk out the door.
Shannon, can you repeat that last little bit of what you said? You broke up a little bit there. Right after you showed the bag and you stuck something to the bag.
The yellow bags go on a shelf, and on the end it has the worksheet pinned to the end of the bag. Yeah. So if we have time at the end of the day for a small quilt, we can pick a small quilt, or at the beginning of the day we say we need 3 large quilts to get, when we get them going. So we do sometimes juggle the order of quilts based on the size, as to what we can accommodate based on our, the time available. But that we can see, anybody who works here can see at a glance, like where the quilt is in the line of quilt, because, customers ring and they're anxious about their quilt, and they, where is my quilt now in the line? And you can say, well, it's 4th, or it's been pinned on and it's 2nd in line. It's, getting really close. Okay. It just helps us all to know what's happening, what's going on. We can answer questions, and everyone knows what's happening.
And so with your business and with your volume, organization seems like it would be paramountly important.
It's very helpful. Yep. And we keep a secondary list. Every quilt is numbered as it comes in. We keep a secondary list so we can look in the book in case we lose our piece of paper.
And I wanted to ask you, for the people that are watching, have you had any experience dealing with like difficult customers or difficult situations? You have anything you can share about that?
We have more than our fair share of all of those.
The customer's always right.
The customer is right. We do everything we can to fix everything. We have unpicked quilts, entire quilts. We do what we can to make everything be to the satisfaction of the customer.
And we try and pick up any things like wavy borders when the quilts come in.
Yeah.
And point them out. Very rarely does a customer want to take it home and fix it. They've had enough. They're ready to have it quilted. So we do our best. I do, and Jenny does do a lot of hand holding the fabric to try and ease fabric in.
Okay. And this other question I'm going to ask, I think I know what one of the answers is. Asking who are some of your biggest cheerleaders or support in this business? I'm sure that one another is probably one of the answers to that.
Yeah, not bad.
Definitely.
Our staff are fabulous. We have
really good staff, and we recognize that, and we, it keeps everything easier for us, knowing that we can rely on no matter what the situation is with the customer, the staff are going to be good. it gives us peace of mind. Yeah, but honestly, we've seen everything. We've dealt with every situation. You know, you often feel like it's an isolated case to just like, why do we attract this? I think every customer service based business has to deal with it. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys are you started out when you were almost the only game in town.
Yeah.
And you've been able to just carry that and continue.
Yes.
So for somebody that is watching this and is thinking about going into doing quilting, do you think that in this day and age that it is something that could still be done successfully, or what is your thoughts about that?
I think being close to a shop that doesn't offer the service would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where we've got the jump over other people, is we're a one-stop shop. We've got the fabric, we've got the quilting, I mean, we've got embroidery, we've got knitting, we've got everything here at our disposal. So customers can come in, buy their fabric, bring it back, have it quilted, and they buy fabric for the next one while this one's being done. It's yeah. So we're in a very, very good position. For somebody starting out, I think you really need to have friends that quilt, belong to a guild.
Yeah.
Yes, and I hear that particular from over and over from people belonging to a guild.
Yes. Because you can show your quilts to them and they can get an idea of what you do. Quilting in New Zealand is quite, it's not, we don't get a lot of competition quilting like I've seen in the States.
Right.
It's real bread and butter stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Shannon, were you about to say something else, or did I cut you off?
No, I just think being a member of the group and having a network already established, either prior to starting out or when you start out, I think that that's really beneficial. Yeah.
Okay. And
you know, we accept quilt by people who bring them in person. They courier them to us. They have a neighbor, a friend, somebody else who can drop them off. We can take information by email, by phone, in person, write us a note. You know, we work really hard to try and accommodate any method that the customer wants to communicate to us. You know, we do work to do what's easiest for them.
okay, excellent. Well, I tell you, it's been amazing to talk to you guys. Before I go, I'm going to give you guys a chance to share where people can get in touch with you, or how they can contact you or find you. I do want to tell any of the people that are watching, be sure and check out on Gammill.com. You can check out the Accelerate business package that can help you provide all the things that you need to get a business started. And I would encourage everyone to educate yourselves as much as you can on your quilting. The new owner training and many other trainings courses are available on Gammill.com there, just to benefit you and help you along with whatever business that you are pursuing. Now, girls, I want to give you guys a chance to tell the people that are watching, how can they get in touch with you or find you or find out more about you?
So we're Busy Bee Quilt Shop. You can go to our website, which is busybeequiltshop.co.nz.
We're in Kilburnie in Wellington, New Zealand. Easy parking.
So we're quite near to the airport. So if anybody is traveling internationally and you'd like to come visit us, we regularly have international customers. We love having them. Love, having a visit with them and a chat. And yeah, you're welcome to come anytime.
Okay. Well, Shannon and Sue,
Again.
thank you so much for visiting with us. It's been super enjoyable. And I'll say our first long distance out of country people to be on the podcast. We appreciate you so much, and happy quilting. And say goodbye to
Indeed.
everybody. And you take care.
You.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Bye
joining
all.
us. Bye bye.
Bye.